Smile.
And we are live. Good evening and hello. So, who of you out there sometimes, maybe more often than you would like, struggle with this inner critic or this voice in your head that's, bringing you down or that's not very kind to you or, falls short of actually loving yourself? Well, if you can relate to that, that is what we four will be speaking about tonight. In celebration of Valentine's Day that's coming up this coming Sunday on the 14th of February, tonight and this afternoon, because we're at all corners of the world, we will be sharing our stories and our solutions of how to be in love with oneself. Now I'm going to give it over to my colleague, Tomoko, to start us off with a lovely little song.
Okay, hi everyone. My name is Tomoko, and just giving you a little flavor from the intro of my coming up album called No Geisha. You ready?
We are so ready. Mm-hmm.
I know, Geisha girl. No, no, I'm holding it down with Kitty Chan. Eating sushi, throwing karate, and I love my cream where East meets West. Mm. Arigato.
Mm-hmm. Arigato. Wow, that was incredible.
Thank you.
So, thank
Amazing.
you so much. I felt your soul, sister. That was incredible. Uh, why don't you start, Tomoko? Why
Okay.
is this being in love with yourself or being in love with oneself or self love? Why is this so important?
Well, I'm an artist. Artists, we can be the worst critics of ourselves, right? It is so important, I think, it's because what we are feeling inside always projects to others. Hurt people hurt people. People who are not happy with themselves take it out on to others. You all know that, that you have experiences either way. That's why we must look within and learn to love and respect ourselves first and be happy with ourselves so we can treat each other with love and respect so we can be happy together. I think then this world will be a better place.
Amen. Or a
Amen.
woman. so
Amen.
what?
And a
So
woman.
yeah. So what's your story when it comes to self love? Have you always been in love with yourself?
No, 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 heck no. I am Leo, born in the year of a tiger in Chinese zodiac sign, and I'm from Osaka, which is the maker of Yakuza, the gangster in Japanese, in Japan. And I lived in New York 14 years, so I'm like a triple, quadruple threat. I was born fearless. I was supposed to be, but that this was my fate. My how somehow my God programmed my life to be really have to learn about self-love. When I was 5 years old, my mother was working all the time, struggling, and hadn't seen me in a long time. And somebody else was always taking care of me. So when I was 5, she saw me in a long time and she looked at me and said, "What an ugly child." So coming from where I was born from, uh, hearing those words was like hearing it from God. So that shattered my soul and to the pieces. And from there, I was already singing. My first memory was 3 years old. I was already singing and dancing to a bunch of people in Japan. So there was nothing else I ever wanted to do in my life. But since that incident at 5 years old, I buried my passion and gave up singing because I thought I was too ugly to be a singer. So I kind of started out late after college, and all my life I had to learn how to relearn how to love myself.
So, can you tell us a little bit about how you did that? Just because quick, short and sweet, little simple tweak here
Yeah,
and there.
yeah. I think we all want to change, but how can be so difficult because our subconscious mind is running our lives. So no matter how much we tell ourselves, you know, we should do this and that, it's not going to work. The key is to change from the deepest place, which is our subconscious mind. So for me, I had to study a lot about that. And there are three things I do: watch my thoughts, pray, and meditate. And these three things are very similar and related to each other in terms of going within. It's an observation and internal conversation with myself or my higher self or God. So I have to be
Mm.
completely honest with myself and really listen to my own words and thoughts coming through all day, every day, so that I won't be doing things on an autopilot. And anytime I hear anything negative about myself or anything else for that matter, I will stop and catch myself and change it to something positive or loving. That's how I learn about really what's going on within inside of me, and I pray to God to help me change, and also do meditation and visualization to improve.
Tomoko, thank you. That was, yeah, I can relate to every single word that you said. Well, not every single word, but about the how. Yeah, those are great tips. And those are great places to start. And we have a fifth colleague that has just been able to pop in. Mary
Hey.
Papa, welcome. We are so, so happy to see you here. And you know what? Take it over. Take it over, Mary. Why is being in love with oneself so important? Can you tell us about you about how that is for you and your story and how you do it, how you improve?
I believe that charity begins at home. So for me, you have to first of all, take care of yourself because the energy we put out there is the same that we get. So loving yourself first is very important. Sometimes we are our hardest critics. Like we think, no, we are maybe too big, we are this, we are that. But we have to, first of all, accept ourselves just the way we are. Why? Because each and every one of us sitting on this panel and everyone else who is going to watch is is unique in the way they are. There is no two-person, in the world just like you. So you are made in that uniqueness with some unique gifts, in that unique personality. And it is so important to, first of all, cherish that. The more you cherish that and know that you're the light in this world, people out there are going to see that. So we can be expecting to get something when we are not, believing in that. When we expect from the outside, it makes it difficult. Why? Because the energy doesn't match. Because whatever we do or the relationship we have with others out there is energy. And that is very, very important. So let's learn how to just love ourselves, cherish ourselves. Sometimes we even go through relationships and we are like, okay, I keep moving from one relationship and to another and it's not working. And but the question we have to ask ourselves is it's good to self-reflect as far as I'm concerned. You self-reflect on looking at your relationship, what is not working. And the reason, because sometimes it looks like we are going from the same kind of person to the other. And that is getting to know that and trying to understand ourselves first and see where we are coming from. Whether we are expecting a lot from the other person when we don't see that in ourselves is very important. And I would say the way I take care of myself to feel, just to know that I am confident, is I look myself in the mirror and I say, Mary, you are wonderfully and beautifully made, inside out. And that light, you're going to shine it out there to everyone. You're going to bring it to the world, and the world will just receive just as you're giving it. So walking confidently, and that's what I'm going to say to my brothers and sisters out there, to love yourself, cherish yourself, so you get that same energy that you're putting out there, towards yourself. So it doesn't feel like there is there is no match, or there's no fusion between you and those of other people out there. So just be confident, walk out there, and know that as you're walking in this world, you're shining, and bring those unique gifts that you have out for everybody to see. Yeah.
Ah, thank you, Mary. Yeah, it's all so true. Yeah, fantastic. So let's go over to Anna. Anastasia, can you tell us why being in love with oneself is so important? A little
I
bit of
guess,
your story.
hi everybody. I'm Anastasia, and I think self-love is so important because if we don't love ourselves, how can we love other people? How can we bring joy into the world if we can't love ourselves? I think it's extremely important to be taught as a child about self-love too. And I focus on teaching self-love to my children, and just expressing, those negative thoughts are killing you. They're destroying you. So you always have to, it's so much easier to be negative than it is to be positive, but we have to, because, we are given this day on earth, another chance to live every single day. We should be grateful, and we should always express gratitude for everything that we have and start there. So, it's easy to be negative when, things aren't going your way, but it's also easy to be grateful when things aren't going your way. And, once you get into that negative in your subconscious, you keep going like a roller coaster. So, and I've noticed with my inner work that I've been doing, it's going to be about a year where I fully committed to personal development because of that. Because I've realized that I didn't love myself, and that I basically made myself a victim in that sense to myself. And I wasn't benefiting from that at all. I was more like, why God? Why God? And it was like, no, thank you, God, for these grateful lessons that have taught me so much.
Beautiful. Beautiful.
Thank you. Anna, can you, so you said something about personal development and personal growth. Can you maybe share a couple of tools that you self use when you're maybe feeling a little bit less loving towards yourself?
Okay. Well, today, for instance, I realized, I was a little out. I wasn't feeling the best. And I just had to get myself into the mood. And, I kept pumping myself up. I'm like, I have a live stream later with my ladies. It's so important to speak about this subject because we struggle with it every day. It's
Yeah.
an everyday project. I mean, sorry, it's an everyday, ongoing
Thing.
thing with yourself. So we have to practice it every day, because our energy, attracts our tribe. Do we want to attract a negative vibe, or do we want to attract a positive vibe? When you do get off that, positive train, and do you feel good about it? Do you self-reflect? So self-reflecting has been a huge for me. Some, like, being honest with myself, like, I'm not proud of this, I could have acted better. Reflection. um, and that's really been the key for me. So when I'm in a bad mood, or my mind is like elsewhere, I try and shift my mindset right away when I notice, by maybe reading a book, completely not related to anything, just like change the subject, kind of like when someone's talking about something and it's getting a little awkward and you want to change the subject. Instead of saying that's awkward and making it awkward, you could just change the subject and nobody would even notice. you know you can, and the self-talk is the biggest 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 thing for me. Every time a negative thought comes in my mind, I counteract it with at least two positives, because the negative could spiral out very quickly and ruin your day. But it's up to you to have a good day. It's all up to you. So you could have a really bad day, but you could still be grateful, at the end of the day, that you had this day, that you had food, that you had a shelter, that, there's people all over the world that are suffering right now. So I always think of, how grateful I am that I live in, a house and I have, heat and water and food. That's one thing to be grateful for that people take for granted. And that also brings like a lot of I put a lot of cooking love into my cooking, and I like honor what I do and do it with intention. And I think that really does help too. Like, I'm not just cooking dinner, I'm putting my love into this food for my family.
Absolutely.
That's kind of how I do it. I don't know.
Wow.
It's just every day I just do something with intention more so, and then keep my vibe up. Like hour by hour, I always do a vibe check.
Great. Thank you for sharing. And I really like that tip about getting into a book that's completely unrelated. Yeah, it's something I use, like go general. Go, just get yourself off of that subject and anything that's get you into a different vibe. Thank you so much. So let's go on over to Grace. Grace. Besides Grace, what else do we need? Tell us why it's so important, Grace.
Says besides grace, we need love, right? Well, what it's I find it important that we talk about self-love, just because it's a beautiful topic. It's a it's a precious topic, and it's a topic that will remind us of our source. And I for me, our source is love. And I don't really have a extremely sad story to share in terms of not loving myself, because I early on I feel that I was born in love. Okay, it didn't even matter what my parents were doing outside, in sex or anything, because it wasn't a perfect family. Okay, but then I feel that I was still born in love, and because of that, um, it I that helped me really get through any of my chatter in my head. And even if I don't have a extremely sad story, there are many moments that you get insecure, or you feel like, you know, you get envious of other people. But then, and I always come back to myself and saying, you're worthy, you love yourself, you are love. I just keep remembering that. So um and 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 when we remember that we are from the source that's love, then we can handle practically a lot of things, because I believe that to be born in this life is so precious. They said in the Buddhist teachings, it says that it's just like when a turtle is swimming in the vast ocean, and once in a while they come out of that water, and that's when they come out, which is just a vast ocean, that's the time one is reborn. And that's not a frequent time that they go up and take a breath. So for me, it's so precious. And then I believe that we chose to be here, whatever, however we came out. And and I see it in my clinical practice meeting, and we all see it as mothers or as aunties, and then the little babies, if they don't have so much crazy influence outside. They're just so precious, and it's innate in them. So that's why it's so important to talk about it. It's a topic that, especially for girls, for ladies, it's so natural. We just like talking about it. We love love stories. I like love stories more than anything else. In books.
Grace, you said you just remember where you're from, that you are from love. Is there any technique or something that you do that gets you in touch with um,
Yeah.
that that feeling? Like, yeah,
Well,
that,
thanks
that,
for asking. That's a good question. Um, we were raised in a Protestant church. So at that moment, then, so you're always taught that God loves you, you know. So it's always about someone loves you more than even your parents, or, there's always. So with that, being in a environment where that's you they we pray a lot, in whatever situation, so that helped me, the prayer. That's okay when the prayer, whatever prayer. And as a single person, or as a community, sometimes when I talk to friends in the Philippines by Zoom, I will always ask them, let's end in a prayer, okay? And then the last time, I actually, in my classmates, I'm the only Protestant, and all of them are Catholic. And I will always say, let's pray before we close up. So that has helped me a lot. Okay, just remembering that we are part of the community. And then the other one that I always had to remember. So with that prayer, I always remember being in the source. Sometimes I have an imagination of a pyramid or a triangle. So like the top one is the source. So you go vertical. Your relationship goes vertical. Even in frequency, you oscillate, goes vertical. So then on the bottom, just like a base, I have to remember that we have a lot of clutter, from physical things to friends to relationships. So I try to declutter. If the people you don't need doesn't help you, then you declutter. Then the third one would be like physically cleaning yourself, meaning the food we eat, the thoughts we eat, the people we share, the words who come out of our mind. So those are like, things that are helpful for me. So
thank you. Those are very helpful. It's interesting listening to you, how you explain things that I'm like, yeah, I get that. I know that. Only I use it like a different language to explain basically the same principle. Work, from the lower chakras or the lower energy centers, and then moving up, and then this vertical line to, this alignment and connecting to source. But thank you, Grace, so much. And this is a fantastic conversation. I know that it is very valuable to really everyone. Because can you guys imagine what kind of world we'll be walking around in and relating to other human beings when everyone is knowing this about themselves,
mm-hmm.
having, not coming at each other like, I need something from you, I need something from you. But really coming from this place, like, I have so much love, I am in love. So in this like container or this space of love that I just want to give, give, give. So I guess that brings us to me.
Yes, please share.
So, hi, my name is Blossom Bamboo. And yeah, how to be in love with oneself. So it is so super important. Like I was saying, in my imagination, in my vision of the world, I agree with Anna. Of course, it starts in childhood, for sure. And Grace, you said you were born in love. We all are born in love, and it can, to some people, it depends on the circumstances, really. But again, it's something outside of yourself, and we can forget it, or we can have experiences where it's like what Tomoko was sharing. Well, that doesn't feel very loving, and it certainly, as a child, you kind of lose this. So I heard a lot of you say about your Christian backgrounds. Now, I also have a Christian background, but it kind of killed my sense of self-love. Just basically worked the opposite way because I heard that I was loved often, but I didn't feel it. So it wasn't backed up. The words were not backed up by actions. And that put me on a path of basically self-destruction. So, a little bit about my story is that I have a lot of self-aversion, self-loathing, and a lot of shame about even being here. Even like, you know, I took me years to even realize that it was okay for me to be here and be on this earth. Like there is a place for me, which Mary, you shared, like every one of us is like so unique and definitely has this amazing place to take up and to shine in. Um, and so it's been a journey, a very long journey, and that I'm sitting here speaking about this is proof to me, to myself, that hey, I think I got it. I got at least a little bit. I must say, I gotta love myself. I gotta love myself a little bit. Yeah, right. Here we are. So how do I do it? And you said that Tomoko, you said it really good, and that was the paying attention to what these voices, like what I'm saying to myself. Yeah, they're mean. They're mean girls. They're bad. They're not so nice to me. And so I really have had to become aware. So bring the attention to it, to hear them, to I mean, even the other day I was like, hey, okay, I hear you. But you know what? I'm not going to listen to you. I'm not going to pay attention to you. But I hear you. I'm aware. So I think that when we want to change anything about ourselves, we want to go inside, the first thing is awareness. And I know, Mary, you'll back me up with this because it's an inside out job. We got to go inside and be aware. Um, so, yeah, just paying attention to that self talk and then changing that dialogue, changing the narrative. Mary, I love what you said about getting in the mirror and saying, yeah, babe, you're here and you're welcome and you've got something to bring. And I have my mirror talks as well. Sometimes I actually have to stop and listen. It's like, wait a second, that's not what I want to be saying to myself. Um, so, and what I would like to share, because I believe that I'm probably, I don't know, we're different ages here, but it continually changes. And if you're on your first steps towards bringing awareness around how much you love yourself or not, or the relationship you have with yourself, or if you're just not taking the first steps of exploring the expansion of what love really is. And we're not talking about the love songs or the love for another person or romantic love or falling in love. What we're talking about here is being in the space of love, which is God's space, or this higher intelligence, or what source, whatever you guys want to call it. But when you're in that space, that's in love. And for me, I can get there with breath work and with meditation and sometimes the right music. Tomoko, you got to know what this is like, because you got the right lyrics, you got the right song on, and oh yeah, one of my an artist that reminds me sometimes about this subject and about how great I am is Pink. She has this song called I don't know, Beautiful, You're Perfect, and it's really a great reminder. So I think that that's what I do. It's I'm constantly improving this relationship with myself, and I can be in love and I can be out of it again so quick. What you were saying, Anna, things happen during the day. Life happens, you go out, there's traffic, and then doing my practices, bringing the awareness, hearing those voices, having the right dialogue with myself, going into meditation, listening to good music, getting on a live call with beautiful sisters, and speaking about love and how important it is. And I think that this is the perfect time because around Valentine's Day, there's so much attention on who is your Valentine or who's going to be my Valentine. What am I going to get? And let's start with ourselves. Be your own Valentine. A question to all of our listeners: can you be your own Valentine?
Mhm.
Well, yeah. So I guess that's what I have to say. I would love to hear some more from any of you that still would like to add. Yeah, Tomoko. She's got her hand raised. She's in the house. Come on.
That have every any one of you compared yourself to others? That's one thing I used to do, and that's that's one of the worst things that you can do. When once
Mm,
you start doing it, and then you really feel bad and you feel sorry for yourself, and that can turn into jealousy. And so that's one thing I stopped doing,
yeah.
and just focus on myself and just try to be the best version of yourself. Anything that's not going good in my life is I take 100% responsibility, and I pray to God that He has the power. If I don't know how to do it, I ask Him to help me change, and then everything's okay. So that's one thing that we have maybe habit. I don't know how, but I guess we all tend to do that sometimes, right?
Oh, yeah. A comparison is a killer. I wanted to ask you how, like, because it from in my own journey, it's like comparison has really been something I had to bring a lot of awareness around. So, it's easy to, yeah, you get that one, Anna. It's easy to say, just stop doing it, but how do we do that? So, how did
It
you do that,
starts in
Simone?
childhood.
Yeah,
Well, it
everything
starts,
starts at childhood, but we're not
yeah,
kids anymore, so let's
I
grow
think
up.
I think
Right.
yeah, being comparison or maybe in any area that we find that we are not doing the things that we would love to do, whether it's comparing ourselves to others or whether not appreciating others or things like that, is
Mm.
first of all being able to um, being aware of that thought in the first place, and then setting an intention because that intention makes you decide on what action to take when that thought actually come up. So and setting that intention, it helps us in a way that when that thought pops up or when we think about it, we be like, oh, that thought again. And then we say, yeah, that's what I have been, this has been happening, but I'm putting an end to this. And I'm taking this route because this is where I want to be. And I acknowledge that place that I would love to be. And then take the action towards that. And I would say one action that you want to take is that um, let me say maybe envying somebody or something like that, and you'd be like, this person is unique in their way. I appreciate what they're doing. They are just who they are, and I am who I am. I love myself because I'm unique, and I can only better myself if I want to get a little better or I'm not doing well in this area. Why not ask for help? Let me ask for help. Or what step can I take now to get to better myself, but without looking at somebody because that's negative energy, which is not serving me in any way, but it's destroying me. It takes time, but we get there. And I'm also happy that you brought the point of Valentine's blossom. Okay, Valentine's Day, people are expecting from other people, from others.
Mm.
But what about us? Just like you said, what about yourself? And normally, Valentine should be every day. Why? Because we have to love ourselves every day. It's a self-expression of our real personality, that which lives in us, empowers us to be in love with ourselves and be the expression of that love. And I think one thing that actually helps me a lot is when I every morning before I go out, I have affirmations that I say about myself. Even before I get into work, I make sure that I tell myself whatever is going on in your life, whether it's negative, you leave it out here. You don't take it to other people because they don't have anything to do with it. You take
Mhm.
responsibility and you move forward in the things that you are supposed to be doing here and be an encouragement to the other person, right? And trying to tear them down. Look at the good in everything, because I believe that whatever happens in life, there is something always good in it. It might be in our personal life. The most important thing is look at the lessons. What lesson can I take in this, in this particular situation? What can I take from this that is going to build me up to be a better person? And then surrounding ourselves with like-minded people. And I'm so blessed to have you, all of you around me here, where we can uplift each other and tell ourselves that it's gonna be okay. What can I do about this? Oh, you can try this. This is what I tried. And we uplift each other to get to that space where we are all growing and being that helping hand or that sister, that brother to
Mm,
anyone out there. We are all made by that same spirit. So
yeah,
yeah.
yeah,
I
yeah.
saw I saw the picture of you, Mary, and your husband and two pretty kids, and I can tell from the picture that you are teaching them really good love.
Oh, thank you. I appreciate
You're
that.
welcome.
Yeah, it started. That's where it started.
I,
Hey, one thing I heard you say was so we have this comparison, but there's also this compassion. And yeah, so what good does comparison do when you realize that these people that you are comparing yourself, all we have to do is say, not no to the comparison and look at the appreciation. What do I appreciate in that person?
Right.
Because actually every person is just a mirror for us. What I've come to learn in my comparison to others, or in my looking at someone and being jealous, actually through doing personal development work and shadow work and diving deep, I've realized that every person has been a mirror. The things that I don't like about them, but the things that I do like, or the things that I think that I want to have that they have, are things that I do already have. We're all these beautiful mirrors for each other. So that turning the comparison into appreciation, that's key. That
I
is so
like that
good.
Yeah.
comparison to compassion.
Compassion.
Yeah.
Yeah.
yeah,
Beautiful.
I want to
Forgiveness.
share. I want to
Sure.
share what I have these favorite mantras, and just as you know, it's sort of like when you have your favorite affirmations, right? And this
Mm,
affirmation, this mantra says this, and when it begins with yourself. So that's a beautiful mantra that I think I like because it begins with yourself, and it says, "May I have physical, mental, and emotional well-being. May I live with an ease of an open heart. May I be free from guilt, shame, and hatred. May I recognize my true nature, which is an inexhaustible source of love, compassion, and wisdom." And
mm,
I say this 3 times, and that may I have, okay, everything is I. Then the next round, I think of my most loved people in front of me, and I say, may you have physical and mental and emotional well-being. May you live with an ease of an open heart. May you be free from guilt, shame, and hatred. And may you recognize your true nature, which is an inexhaustible source of love, compassion, and wisdom. Then the third round is you say it again and you imagine the worst person who is giving you a
ah,
hard time, who you think you are having a difficulty, and you say the same things. And then the fourth one is you imagine everyone in the world to be in front of you, and then
mm.
you keep saying, may you. But the powerful thing with this is, just as we're talking about, is how to be in love with yourself, so you put yourself first. And that's my one of my favorite thing. So
Thank you for sharing, Grace. That's so powerful. It is true. Yeah. Is there anyone else that would like to say something about this? The way I see it is like there's a lot of talk all over online, and a lot of groups that are going into this whole self-love and self-care. And we specifically went to the in love. Does anyone want to say something about that? Because for me, it's like a level deeper. It's taking it out of the mind and dropping it down into the heart. like then we're coming at ourselves, from our own hearts. Mary, I don't know. I think Tomoko, go for it, girl.
Isn't it very difficult to look at ourselves? Never mind talking about loving ourselves. It's just we can't even look at ourselves the way other people do. Even when I look at myself in the mirror, it looks the opposite side. So what I do start doing is to talk to my own child. Like I'm looking at it objectively. I'm looking at her, little baby Tomoko, you're okay. Don't worry
Mhm.
about it. You are beautiful. Instead of telling myself, you are beautiful to the mirror,
Right.
it's easier for me to talk to my little self like somebody else. Because
Yeah.
we can do, like I said, hurt people, yeah, but there's also at the same time we can do certain things to others when we can't even do it to ourselves, right?
Hmm.
Yeah, so that's one thing I started doing. It works for me.
Thank you for sharing that. Yeah, Anna.
Um, I was gonna say, humans are addicted to suffering, and this is like how we
Yeah.
torture ourselves. So if you would like to live a happy life, be happy. Already be happy. Don't wait to get something to be happy. Be
Yeah.
happy now. Be happy and grateful
Hallelujah.
now, and just express that love towards yourself. Like, if you say you lost your job, right? Um, one door opens and like look positively at the situation instead of negatively, because that actually did happen to me. So, and it really tested me, like, can I beat myself up for this, or can I learn something? Can I you know and you know what, when your time is up, God knows, the universe knows, and that's, that door's closed. Now you're off to better and bigger adventures. Just trust that everything will be okay. Trust that you're headed in the right direction. It's just, you have to you have to forgive yourself for any transgressions that you've had. Like, have that relationship with the universe and God. Don't beat yourself up for it. Don't continue, like, beating yourself for things that happen and you had no, maybe you did have control over it, maybe you didn't. To a certain degree, you do bring upon a lot of your own problems. So, I'm 31 years old now. I think I've learned a lot because I actually did the self reflection, and then I did try to say, how can I grow so I don't repeat those same lessons that were painful to repeat.
Yeah.
And it did start with self love. Those are one of the lessons. Like, I didn't love myself. I thought you know, I thought I made a mistake, but it's not a mistake. It's a lesson. You were meant to go
Yeah.
through that. You were meant to, just experience that. You get wiser as you go, through your life, but you have to love yourself now every day for the rest of your life. So just do it. It's that easy.
Yeah.
It's
That's
not
good.
that easy some days, but you have to find a way to do it.
That's great. I would like to just sum that up because Tomoko, you said what I would call an inner child work. That is a great way to get in touch with oneself, to do healing, and to cultivate a new relationship with yourself. And you said forgiveness, number one. We don't really need to be forgiving anyone else. We just need to be
Yep.
forgiving ourselves. I think at the end and the beginning of the day, something else you touched on was trust. And this is for me a big one when we're talking about in love, because in this container of love, you can trust it. It's what we're made of. It's what we come through. We can trust that. It's what keeps our hearts beating. It's what keeps the air flowing in our lungs. We can trust that. And then there was one other point, and now I've forgotten that. I was trying to sum it up. Damn it.
It's okay.
It will
So
come back to you.
That's fine.
exactly, we're all human. But yeah, so every one of us is really shared some amazing tools and keys and some valuable insights on how to do this, because it's something that we are, and there is the being, but there's also the doing. Those are the actionable steps that we're talking about. Yeah,
Beautiful.
yeah,
Before we sign
yeah,
before we
ladies.
sign
Yeah,
off, can we go one round just to introduce our podcast?
yeah. I was also going to invite anyone to share projects they may be working on, or where people could find you if they found any of this content interesting and want to know more about us. Tomoko, we'll start with you.
Um, I would just say because my thing is everywhere and just distracting. So just go to tomokomusic.com and you will find everything because I have my podcast is called Songwriters Room on YouTube, but then I have Japanese series. I started TikTok and it's crazy. So just go to tomokomusic.com and thank you so much everyone for this subject. It was beautiful and Blossom, you are the best MC I've ever heard in my life. And since you guys made me feel good, I'm gonna sing a little bit more. Is that okay?
Oh, please,
Yes.
please.
Okay,
Thank you
so
so much.
this is for Valentine's, for lovers.
Mm.
Okay. Drifting on a memory. Ain't no place I'd rather be than with you. Uh, loving you. Yeah. A day will make a way for night. All we need is a candlelight and a song. Yeah. Soft and long. Oh yeah, baby. Mm. Glad to be here alone with a lover unlike no other. Sad to see a new horizon slowly coming into view. I wanna be living, everybody, for the love of you. Oh yeah, every day living for the love of you.
Thank
Love.
you. Thank you. Thank you so much, Tomoko. Grace, share about where people can find you and what you're up to.
Oh, so yeah, I'm actively doing the podcasting and individually and with other podcasters. So you can find us at Quantum Nurse YouTube, and of course in the Apple Podcast, and with the freedombroadcasters.com. There, that's also there. And so that's like my special baby project in addition to my holistic nursing, and that's at quantumnurse.life. Thank you.
Thank you
Beautiful.
very much, Grace. And Mary, what are you up to, girl?
Um, it's been a pleasure to be here and to talk about this wonderful topic. And I just want to say thank you to all the viewers. And I came a little late. Yes, that was technical issues, and I really want to apologize for that. But I'm happy that I made it. And so, where you can find me, you can find me at Inside Out Alignment Podcast on YouTube, as well as Anchor, Spotify, Apple Podcasts, and Overcast, and all that. So, and on my Facebook page, Mary Tapper, you can also find me on there where I make sometimes some short videos. Yeah, so you can find me there. So thanks everyone for being here. Wish you much love. Make sure you're practicing and putting that in place because we are love, and it's loving ourselves that will help us make our world a better place. Thanks.
Absolutely. Speaking the truth. I love that. I love that. And Anastasia, where can we find you?
Hi, everybody. I'm working on multiple projects, but I'm not going to list them all. Basically, the main priority is a domestic violence advocate. I let those people who are shamed, beaten down, completely feel like somebody actually cares. And if you ever need to reach out to me. The Bad Mom podcast is my podcast where I interview survivors of domestic violence, sexual assault, It's really important to have these conversations that make people uncomfortable because they are so common, and violence is literally everywhere. It doesn't matter where you live. People abuse each other. Like you said, if we can't be right with ourselves, we're going to create turmoil for other people. And I think we should just, forgive whoever has hurt you. So through that, that's a healing process for me. That's why I started my podcast, the Bad Mom Podcast. You could find it on Google, Spotify, YouTube. There's my link at the bottom. We can find all the links. And if you want to be interviewed, if you would like to be, you know, if you don't want to have your voice, I'm sorry, your name, so because like people do fear speaking out about these issues, and they do put themselves at harm sometimes when, you know, you talk about these things that people do come and attack you. So I just want you to have a safe space to talk about it. You can keep your identity hidden if you want. And yeah, I've had a lot of people reach out to me and say this is helpful because during these lockdowns, domestic violence is an extremely high rate, and people cannot get out because there's nowhere to go. And, I help people relocate. I help find resources to them. Um, you know, you have to be that person. I have to be that person for other people now because I have come this far. And that's my mission. I also teach financial education to people because to me, that was one thing that personally I did not ever develop. So now I focus on that is really important because they don't teach us that in school, really. They kind of teach us how to get a job and start a bank account, but they don't really teach, how to like the things we're doing right now, podcasting, we're doing this for free. We're doing this because we love each other. We love everyone. We want people to be at this vibe. We want people to experience, a self-expression. Like you have to be creative. And that's really just be yourself. So I encourage people to do that. I'm building a nonprofit for kids that's going to teach self-love, financial education, and mostly how to build positive relationships and not to be a victim of abuse of any kind. And it starts with having the conversation and being informed because most people don't even know they're victims until years down the road. I was one of those people. I had no idea that I was a victim. I just thought it was a normal relationship. And I don't want people to make the same mistakes I did, lessons. I want them to already know, so I focus on, the youth basically, because we can break the cycle of abuse in our youth. We can't really do that you can do that, but it's very hard for people who are already instilled in their ways. We do have to start with our kids, and, that's the next generation. And if we want to make a difference, we have to start with the kids.
Absolutely. Hey, thank you. Thank you. It sounds like you've got your hands in a lot of different pots. So on the screen, you'll see Dark Blossom. That is the name of my brand that I operate under. And I have a podcast called Past the Pause, where I have conversations about anytime anyone's been paused. Tomoko, actually, I really want to have you on there because I get your story. I really do, girl. But what happens when we decide to unpause ourselves? I am also heading up the Love Tribe, which is a part of Thrive Tribes Global, which is a media and broadcasting company, and it is going to be supporting all of the thrivers for the new earth that, as we all know, we are moving into. And at the basis of all of that is this being in love, not only with oneself, but with all living creatures and beings and planet Earth. And if you guys are still listening, thank you so much. We appreciate you being here, tuning in, listening to the replay. You can get all of our links down at the bottom. And thank you, thank you, thank you. And I'm saying, let's all be in love. Woohoo!
Yes. Yes, laugh, 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 laugh,
Thank you, everyone.
Thanks,
Sayonara.
everybody.
Sayonara.
Yeah.
Bye, ladies.
Bye
Bye,
bye.
ladies.